Okay, straight to it. This is an area of the Fraser River Junkyard, known geographically as the Fraser Lands, also known as the Jungle, also known as Dump Bar. Like the other sections of Fraser River Junkyard, this is an old Riverside city dump, closed 5+ decades ago. It wasn't sealed properly, and now all manners of vintage garbage now litter the shoreline. I refer to this area as the west wall, and like the east wall, it's within an intertidal zone. Intertidal zones are also known as foreshores and tidal ranges. But no matter your preference, it can't be understated just how much of a disaster zone this area is. It's low tide now, of course, but at high tide the water will be up to about here. The unfortunate business and embarrassing sight that is the Fraser River Junkyard inhabits the shoreline of the South Arm along the Fraser River in Richmond, British Columbia. Unfortunately for this area, the lower levels of the Fraser River are subject to 2 tide cycles within every 24-hour plus period. The tide cycle is just north of 6 hours up and 6 hours down every day, every week, and every month, and every year, for decades. The results, of course, mirror that of a developing country, but this isn't a developing country. This is Richmond, British Columbia in 2024. This old tire is a great example of how so much of yesteryear can be found deposited onto the shoreline. When the tide is up, the corrosive effects of strong sediment-rich currents loosen up the soil and all the garbage and create these chasms and empty spots. Again, this is low tide in an intertidal zone, and at some point all the dirt will be loosened and pulled away from the tire. The tire will fall onto the ground, and everything that was tucked so snug will be laying on the shoreline. Of course, anything that can float will float down the Fraser River. It will be conveyed into the Strait of Georgia, where it will poison the Salish Sea and ultimately the Pacific Ocean. Unfortunately, a blueprint really on how to pollute the world's oceans.